Hi everyone, it's Erin from ePapere, and today I am doing a beautiful double envelope page layout for our Fall Junktober challenge. Stay right here. All right, I am doing a bee-themed page layout for my niece's junk journal. So I am starting out with a piece of background paper that is cut to size and a couple of envelopes that I am going to arrange so that it does kind of a flip out with some pockets, just kind of making this up as I go along. I'm sure somebody's done this arrangement before, and that I'm not the first one to do it, but I haven't seen it. So if you know of somebody else who's done this type of thing before, let me know in the comments so that I can properly attribute this particular type of flip to them. So anywho, what I did is arrange the envelopes the way that I wanted them, and then I put an X on all of the pieces that I wanted to cover with a contrasting paper. And I'm writing down measurements and everything so that I can keep everything straight. So I'm going to take some contrasting black paper. Black is another one of my Junktober 22 prompts, so checking that one off the list. And I'm going to mark the places where I want to cut out that notch for the envelope, and then we'll use my cutting mat grid and a ruler to help me get that all cut out to specifications. And then what I can do is use my corner rounder to round off those little leg pieces so that they match the envelope, and it actually worked out pretty well. I will say I was pretty impressed with how that worked out. So I mean it looks pretty good considering, like I said, I'm just making this up as I go along. So here we go. Got that. Yeah, thumbs up, Erin, it worked. So then I'm going to take that piece that I've done and I'm just going to trace it once I cut out the like rectangle piece of it. I'm going to trace that little notch, and then I can use my scissors to cut out the rest of it, or this second piece that's going to have to be that same shape and size. So, or apparently no, I'm going to use my knife. I'm sorry. I just shot this yesterday. It's not like even there's a big lag between editing and crafting. And already my brain is not remembering what I did just yesterday. So, you know. All right, so we're gonna glue that down onto that envelope. And then trimming just anything that kind of hangs over the side, because, you know, despite the best of our intentions and cutting straight and measuring right and everything, isn't there always that little piece that hangs over the side? So, you know, just keep trimming. All right, so I'm gonna put this back together again so that I can decide, you know, how do I want this to look? So I decided I want the black paper on both of those flaps so that they match. So I'm going to take a strip of black paper that I had after cutting that envelope piece out, and thankfully, look at that, it is like the right width for the envelope. So I'm just going to trace that flap onto one end and cut it out. This time with scissors, folks. I knew I was going to use scissors at some point. And I'm just going to go to the other end and cut it out. The reason I did this instead of like cutting an edge and trying to, you know, use sort of, and I know it's going to leave a weird scrap, but the reason I did this was because this is my best chance of getting the pattern to match, I thought. Maybe that's just in my head, and maybe I'm just overthinking this, but I thought, you know what, it's it's gonna make the patterns match. So that's what I had in my head. So just laying those flaps into place and trim, of course. Lay the other flap into place. And if you're seeing me do some weird hand gestures, Mom was over while I was shooting this video. So we were having a good chat while I was shooting this, making plans for her and Dad's move down to Arizona for the winter. So we've got to figure out how to get all of her crafting stuff into the RV. So if any of you guys have any really awesome small space organization ideas, put them in the comments for us, because we're going to be working hard over the next week or so trying to fit as much of her stuff into the RV as possible. So I'm just going to put yellow on this one because that'll create a contrast with the black that it's going to be with the other ones. Now, tip, I cut this one too wide and the envelope didn't want to flop over very well. So you're going to see me kind of struggling with this and trimming, and then I've got to pull it back up a little bit and trim off a little bit more. You know, I could have saved myself the worry by just thinking ahead a little bit. Of course, I was a little distracted because I was having my chat with Mom, but you know, leave a little space if you're covering the inside of an envelope flap so that the envelope can still, you know, flap over. I think I was just gluing some loose parts there. There's always like that one little blip of paper that didn't quite get stuck down by the glue stick. So, all right, check that out. The stripes match. How proud am I of that? It's always the little things, folks. It's the little things in life. So I'm going to glue just the sides of that flap over to the envelope. So that's creating like a second little pocket in there, and then that flaps over and then it opens and we have a second envelope and a writing space. And then the way that this is going to be on the page is going to be glued down like a tall pocket. So this is bee themed, but bees love flowers. So I am taking some roses to fussy cut out of my rose catalog paper. If you would like a page of this, you can purchase our nature themed stash builder pack and you will get a page from the rose catalog as well. So I'm just going to cut out a few different roses that I like that go with the theme paper, and then I'm going to arrange them to make a bit of a garden for our bees to enjoy. How's everybody doing? I am sad this week. Our Sophie, our dog, passed away last weekend, so it's been a rough week for us. So I was glad to be able to get down into the studio and enjoy some time with Mom and Dad. He was over too, so keeps my mind off of things a little bit. She was 17, so she lived a good long life, but you know, that last bit was tough. We had her in the hospital. She was in the hospital for 4 days, and thought at one point she might actually pull through. We might be able to take her home, and then they called us very early the next morning and told us that the oxygen in her blood was very, very low, and that at that point her organs had started to shut down. So the kind thing to do would be to let her go. So we made the decision to let our little girl go. And we miss her dearly, but we know that she's living life now, and we'll see her again. So, but I am going to cut these roses in half so that I can put them on either side of my pocket. And just kind of arranging them. It took me forever to figure out how I was going to arrange these and how I was going to get them to fit into the envelope, you know, behind the envelope and all the stuff. And Mom's finally like, Erin, just flip it over and glue them like that. I'm like, oh yeah, glue them to the envelope, Erin, not down to the paper. Duh. Thanks, Mom. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to craft with a partner who can tell you when you're being an idiot. So, anyway, I finally figured it out. Thanks, Mom. But I think it turned out really cute. One thing I really liked about this particular technique was the bit of texture it left behind. And I'm struggling with this last rose because it was kind of, the picture we had, like that particular rose bloom was kind of upside down, and then when I cut it, it felt like it should go on the other side of the, anyway. So I just kind of resigned myself to the fact that that particular rose bloom was going to be upside down. So anyway, I'm gluing this to the back page now, on top of the lace, in like a tall pocket. So the glue is along the bottom and the two sides, leaving a pocket at the top. And I'm gonna put a Bee Lady sticker. This is from one of the antiquarian sticker books. I don't remember if it's Bibliophilia or the other antiquarian sticker book. And then another bee sticker there. And then I decided I wanted a label, also down on the right hand side, and I wanted one that says Be Kind, B-E-E kind, and obviously didn't have one printed already or anything. So Mom's like, hey, didn't you get a set of alphabet stamps during one of our vintage runs? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes I did. So these had never been used. They were brand spanking new in the box. So I dug them out and took them apart, and we're gonna make our own Be Kind label. I am taping a strip of mixed media paper down to my mat, with the ruler across it and taping it down so that it's straight. Spritz just a little bit of my alcohol ink based spray just to take the shine, the glaring white off the white paper. And I'm stamping my words out, and I'm separating them so I can cut around the words. So then I'm going to use my paper cutter to make most of the cuts, and then those last little bits just by scissors, because by that point it just gets really futzy in the paper cutter. And then I'm going to ink those with some wild honey, because what says bees more than wild honey? And I wanted them to stick out a little bit more against that paper. So friends, if you're enjoying this content, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And also, please leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this video and what else you might like to see on our channel. And back to the video. There we go. I think that turned out really cute. I do finish this up with some stamping and additional stickers. So I've added some pictures at the end here so you can see the finished project. Thanks everybody, bye!